Today I'm going to show you how to create a paper weaving. You're going to need a 9x12 piece of construction paper, preferably colored, and then you're going to need some strips 1 inch wide, cut the width of the paper. These strips are what you will weave in and out of your background paper weaving. You're also going to need a ruler, some scissors, a pencil, and glue. Now to begin, you need to fold your paper. So when you take your paper, you're going to fold it down in half, the hamburger way, not the hot dog way, the hamburger way. You want your corners and your bottoms to match. Now when you normally do this, a lot of you hold your paper to the side here and you zip your finger across. We don't want to do that, because if we do that, you're going to end up with it sometimes not folding properly. It ends up like this. So to keep that from happening, you need to, again, align the bottom and your corners, and then instead put your hand in the middle. And by putting your hand in the middle, it's going to secure this whole piece going across. Then you're going to take your other hand, take your fingers, go up and over, and then up and over to the other side. Now you have a perfectly folded piece of paper. And I know if you practice this, you'll become perfect paper folders. The next step is to take your paper and to turn your paper around so that the folded side is facing your tummy. Next, you're going to need your ruler and you're going to need your pencil. You're going to place your ruler towards the top of your paper. You want to leave a little bit of space just so you can see a little bit of paper right at the top. Now we're going to draw a line. We don't want the line to be up here. We want the line to be on this side of the ruler. So we're going to hold the ruler and we're going to draw going across the paper, just like that. And once you've drawn across the paper, this is where we'll put your name. Okay? Now, the next step is we're going to use the ruler again, only instead of drawing lines this way, we're going to draw lines vertically. So we just created a horizontal line, now we're going to create a vertical line. We're not going to line the ruler up from the top. We want it to start right at the pencil line that I started here. So I'm going to line the ruler up against this side of the paper. And again, remember, we want to have a little bit of the paper showing. We don't want to draw the line over here, but we're going to draw a line from the top of this pencil line all the way down to the fold. Notice that this thickness is the width of our ruler. Next, we're going to place the ruler along our new pencil line, and we're going to draw another line here. And we're going to keep doing this all the way across, and you'll notice that these are all the same thicknesses. Now when we get to the end, you might notice you're going to have a tiny little space here. Because it's not the same thickness, I'm not going to draw a line here. I'm going to let this last one stay thicker because we don't want this edge to get too skinny. Once you're done drawing your lines, we're going to take the scissors and you're going to cut along the fold. Okay? You're going to cut along the fold. And you'll know whether you did this right or not because when you open this up, there's the fold. Okay? So that's what it should look like. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut on this line, and I'm going to cut all the way up, and I'm going to stop right at the horizontal line here. I don't want to cut all the way through, because if I cut all the way through, I'm going to cut this whole section off, and we want to keep that section. So I'm going to cut right up this line, and I'm going to stop right at the top. And I'm going to do that for each of the lines that I have. Okay, there we go. Now notice again we have the folds here, and when you're done it's going to look like a little grass skirt. Then we're going to open this up and lie this flat. So lay that down flat. Now our next step is to use our strips of paper to weave in and out of the cuts that we have just made. So I'm going to start with this fuchsia color first. Now it doesn't matter whether we start by going over or under this first flap right here. What's important is that if we start going over here, then the next one we want to go under, and then we're going to have it go over, and then it's going to go under, and then it's going to go over, and then under. So we want to keep it consistent. So I'm going to start over here, over the first one, under the second, over, under, over, under, over, and under. Now when I get all the way across and to get to the end, I'm going to use my fingers and I'm going to push the little strip down. Now notice the two colors that I have. I'm creating an A-B pattern. I'm going to go this fuchsia color, and then I'm going to use a yellow, and then I'll go back to fuchsia and then a yellow. So I'm creating an A-B pattern. You can create an A-B pattern too, or you could create an A-B-C pattern. So now, if I've started over here and I want to go opposite, how am I going to start here? If you said under, you're correct. So I'm going to start under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and over. Again, when you get to the end, we're going to take that and we want to kind of push this down. Do you notice something? Do you see the checker pattern I'm making? Kind of looks a little bit like a checkerboard. I did the fuchsia and then I did the yellow. Now I'm going to go to the fuchsia to keep my A-B pattern. Over, under. So how am I going to start here? If you said over, you're right. So over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and under. Do you notice that I have a pattern? So I have fuchsia, blue, fuchsia. And then over here I have blue, yellow, blue, keeping that checkerboard pattern going. Next is my yellow, and this will be the last one that I put in for right now for this demonstration. So which way do I have to start this? Over or under? Under. You are correct. So go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and over. And then push down. Now because of time, I'm not going to demonstrate the rest of it, but I would continue weaving all the way, get as many strips of paper in here as I could until I get as close to the top as I can. When I'm all done weaving all my paper strips in, now it's time to use the glue. So we're going to take the glue, and if you know the trick, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So if you turn the top to the left, counterclockwise, you're going to open up the glue. If you turn it to the right, you'll close the glue. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. That's a good trick to remember. So now I'm going to lift up my first flap, and I'm going to use just a baby dot of glue. I don't need a lot, just a little bit. Just a small amount. Just a baby dot of glue. Because when I press this down, what's going to happen to the glue? It's going to just keep spreading out, and we don't want to have glue all over our paper. So I'm just baby dot of glue and press. Baby dot of glue and press. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Lift up the flap, baby dot of glue, and press. Baby dot of glue and press. Now that this side is complete, I need to turn my paper over and I need to glue down the flaps over here. Baby dot of glue and press. Baby dot of glue and press. Baby dot of glue, press. And last one, baby dot of glue and press. Don't forget to close the top of your glue before you put it away. That way your glue doesn't dry out. When you're done gluing all your tabs, you're going to take your paper weaving and you're going to bring it over to the drying rack to dry. I hope you enjoy paper weaving. I'm sure you will all be fabulous weavers.